Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to another edition of Safe Space with Pastor Wale Afelumo. I do hope you're having a beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's our last episode for the year, and I must commend you for having been a part of the journey thus far. I want to thank those of you who have subscribed, who have followed, who have made comments on our episodes. I also want to thank those who have been guests on our previous episodes. I truly want to thank you, and also to extend a shout out to my wife, who sat in for me for some weeks while I was unavoidably absent. Remember again to subscribe if you've not done so to the channel. You can share this on your statuses or on your profile on social media so that people can be a part of this experience. Today we have an interesting topic. It's called managing personal economy. We're talking about staying afloat in an unstable economy. And I like to say that financial sufficiency is a basic human right. But unfortunately, many people may never achieve that just for want of practical money wisdom or financial literacy, like we'll say. Now, becoming financially sufficient or financially self-sufficient just requires being able to have a steady source of income, predictable source of income, being able to build on that, save that, and save on that, and also avoiding unnecessary debt. Now, looking at the economy of our country, I don't know where you are listening from. This is Nigeria. It's been quite unstable. I think we're in our second recession now in just about 5 years, and a lot has happened to our economy. There's rise in food cost, electricity tariff, petrol pump price. There has been a protest in the country recently, NSAS, which you may be aware of. There's rise in unemployment, and also the COVID pandemic has affected our economy as a country. So how do we prepare for 2021? Things may not improve, at least immediately, as we expect, but how can you as an individual begin to ensure that you gain mastery over your finances and come to a place of financial sufficiency to be able to have a strong footing and be able to meet some of the basic needs in your life and grow your finances? Now, I have a guest here today that I'm particularly excited to have in this place. I've had times of interactions with him, and he's just an astute mind, an astute business person. He's a graduate of political science and also has a master's in human resource management, and he also has a professional certification in project management, both of them from the United Kingdom. He's a member of various local and international professional bodies, including the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, CIPD, in the United Kingdom. He's a thriving hands-on businessman. I like to call him a hands-on business person, an entrepreneur with years of experience, and is currently the CEO of SOLOGIC Group, a group of businesses that include marketing, communications, and branding, agriculture. They're also into hospitality, just to mention a few of the things he's been involved in. I believe that our viewers are going to glean a lot from his experience, his practical experience, his pitfalls, his victories. And I know that something will be deposited in you to help you as we approach a new phase, a new year. This is the time to invite your friends, share with somebody, business owners, startups, somebody who just wants to have financial wisdom. It would be nice for you to be a part of this. I'd like you to welcome with me to Safe Space with Pastor Wale Afelumo, Mr. Abayomi Bello. Good to have you, Yomi.
Good to be here.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Could you speak a little louder? Greet our viewers.
Good afternoon, viewers. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting discussion today, and I particularly am excited when we talk about money, financial independence, because I just, even from my little experience, I see many people make a mess of their money. You see particular behavioral patterns in people's relationship with money that you know that in just a little time, this person will go bankrupt or their businesses will hit the ground. So we're going to have a good time. Remember again you can ask your questions in the chat box. It's live, and our guest Abayomi Bello will be on hand. I will be there too, and several others to make comments and to rub minds together on this very important topic, managing personal economy. Remember also to subscribe to the channel, and let's do this together. Mr. Abayomi Bello, why do you think what we are talking about today is important?
Well, thank you again,
Yeah.
Pastor Wale, for
Yeah.
this opportunity.
Yeah.
it is important for everyone to be able to manage their finances, because at the end of it all, that actually drives everything we do.
Wow.
Yes, because if you don't have finance, you're practically stagnant.
Incapacitated,
yes,
likely.
yes. So it's important that people are able to manage their finances. They're able to control it, you know, and then able to, you know, how do I say, regenerate, you know, even the little that they have over a period of time. So it's important that everyone understands, you know, some basic principles to, you know, to finances.
Wow.
Because, I mean, like I said, you are static if you don't have.
They even said, I remember one song that said, no romance without finance.
Well,
that's fantastic. Yes. That's fantastic. That's quite enlightening right there. And I believe we're already hearing that. Now, Yomi, tell us some of the businesses you are into and what pushed you into business, and for how long have you been in business?
Okay.
So where did the motivation for business come from?
Okay, I think the motivation started from my undergrad. My undergrad, yeah. Okay. So it was, I first started with movies, because yes, it was very, very funny and strange, yeah. But I love watching movies. Okay. And so I realized I was spending a lot of money going to rent movies. So I decided to open a video club while in university. And that was where...
While you were in school?
Yes, while I was in school, yes. So he helped, you know, to add to whatever funds I was getting from my parents and all that. So I had a little extra from that. And that opened my eyes to realize that, look, I think this is actually the way to go for me. So that continued on to, you know, several other businesses that we currently own. And for me, the major thing there was passion. You know, it was for each of the businesses that we currently own, it was the passion for it, the interest, the fact that it was something that I enjoyed doing. So maybe that was why it was easy for me to expand, you know, into all of them. So currently we have the marketing communications company. So we own a full printing press.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do offset and digital print as well as branding for some corporate organizations. So that was, you know, the first big real company that we started with.
It was driven by your passion.
Yes, it was driven by my passion from, you know, seeing good things everywhere, you know, and all that. Yeah. So then we went on from there to build on to hospitality, entertainment, and then agriculture.
I'm interested. At what level in the value chain of entertainment are you?
So it was. We started off with a club. Okay. Actually, yes, it was a nightclub. We started with back in 2011.
Where is that?
It was in Abuja here.
Oh wow.
Yes, and so after a while, I got out of it because I felt I had other businesses I was doing during the daytime, and that was taking a lot of my time at night. So we decided to, you know, modify it a bit and own lounges instead. So with the concept of the lounge was for you to come in and have a meal. So it was like a restaurant, but then in weekends we turn off the music just a little bit, so people can come and actually sit in, have fun, and then, you know, still push. So that was the entertainment bit. You know, then we graduated to the sit-outs at the hotels. So we left the lounges now because, like I said, it was a gradual thing. So I looked at myself and said, look, I started off with a nightclub. And then that's in terms of the entertainment business. I started off with a nightclub. And then later I realized in 10, 15 years' time, do I still want to be an owner of a nightclub? And I said no. But I would want to own a restaurant, you know, because people would always eat. And it's a decent environment also for my kids to say, look, what does your dad do and all that. So that motivated us into, you know, the hotels. And then we now have the sit-outs at the back of
So you have a hotel now?
Yeah, so we have 3 hotels actually.
Wow.
2 is in Abuja, where one is almost done in Abuja, and then one is back in Kogi, Kaba, where I'm come from. So then we have of course, the agricultural one, you know. So we have
interested in that.
In agri, yes. So that was an interest that I took from back in the UK. So we had this store It was called Martin's Good to Go, where we always go. It was an African store where we buy stuff from. Yes, in Sheffield, yes. But the owner was actually Jamaican. Yeah, so it's funny how a Jamaican had, you know, Niger stuff and all that. So I approached him then to see what we could be bringing in from Nigeria for him. And then when he sells, we make money from it. And I realized that, look, there are a lot of people out there in the diaspora that require agri products, something as simple as smoked fish. So we went into fishery, you know, and then poultry as well. And then we have a modular oil refinery there.
Modular oil refinery?
Yes. It's soya oil. We refine soya and turn it into oil. And then there are also byproducts that come from the soya. The sludge, we sell to the soap industries for soap. And then the shaft and the...
How do you wrap your head around all of this? His
interest. And, you know, it's also very important for people to know that for every business that you want to go into, your interest has to be 150%. Yes, if you don't have interest in it, you won't be able to push it till it succeeds, because you might not succeed initially when you start, but because you have interest, you would learn about it and then understand the business very well. And then it becomes, you know, something that you drives you. Yeah, so it's not really, So the moment you don't make it about the money itself at the onset, it is most likely the business will succeed. Because most people are driven by the profit. But that's not really what...
Should be driven by interest.
Yes, that's that passion. That's the first thing, you know. And then understand that, look, there will be risks involved as well. But the risks should be manageable. There should be risks that you understand. You know, so if you have an interest in something, you research. For instance, when we started with the oil refinery, while we're bringing in the machineries from India, we're contemplating what we're going to mill. You know, what kind of oil we wanted to mill and all that. And then looking at the location we were, Kogi, and the environs, we looked at the people and what their demand would be. Now we have, you know, people of, you know, older people within those communities. What kind of oil would be good for them, low in cholesterol, and then you know, very healthy oil. So we looked at soya as one of the products, but then the equipment, the machine we have can actually mill any oil, so from groundnut to sesame to whatever. But we picked soya because, like I said, you know, we researched on it.
Your demographic.
Yes. So every byproduct from soya has economic value. So we have a poultry. So the shaft and the rest that we make, we use it for feed meal, for the chicken and even for the fish. The sludge from the soya we sell to the soap industries. And then the soya itself, we can either sell it as crude, which we export, or we refine into edible oil that we put on shelves across, you know, the supermarkets.
Wow, I wish you could just camp on it, because for me, it's just still about how do you manage all of it. But I think I'll leave it at that interest, you know, for now. Now, how did government policies, especially in the last 2-3 years, affect your business, you know? Ban on importation, issues with the border, rising petroleum cost and all of those things, taxes.
Yes.
Did your business take a hit? How did you?
Yes, we did, especially with the taxes.
Even with the forex.
Yes, and yes, because some of the equipments we had to bring in. For instance, the bottle that we used for the oil, we import, you know, in large quantity from China, and then, you know, even though the government says there is tax waivers and import duty waiver on agri products, but then there's a thin line with how they define it. So even for the bottles that we use to bottle the oil, they tell us that's not agri product, but then it's agri. So so I think they should be more specific about that in terms of agro-allied products and the byproducts from it as well, because so taxes are huge on us for the hotel and the printing press, on all the businesses, the tax. That's the first one. Then like we just talked about the imports and duties on some of these products. Then the rising cost of some of the raw materials that we have. So we farm our soya, but our capacity is 60 tons a day. Now that's a lot for us, you know, to farm and actually get to be able to produce. And it's a 60 tons per day capacity. That's a lot. It's about two, if I will use regular, these long trucks, it's about 2 trucks That's what we mill every day. So for us, getting that byproduct is high. So what the government has done with the closure of the border and then allowing a few companies to still import certain it affects, those that are locally producing, and then for us to be able to buy from them. So the costs go up, even though they say they are farming it. The cost still goes up. Yes. Wow. So some of these.
How have you navigated, kept your business afloat in the midst of all of this, and also looking at COVID? Did COVID take, did your business take a hit, especially the hospitality?
Yes, definitely. We had to shut down for a couple of months. So yes, we took a hit, but we were able to manage because somehow, we evolved from there. So like
with the hospital, to do logistics at some point.
Yes, so we started a logistics company from there because one thing also with building businesses is identifying gaps and then how you can fill those gaps. So with the COVID came a gap.
Can you rephrase that? One of the key ways of building businesses.
Yes, is identifying gaps and then finding ways to fill those gaps. So with the COVID, what happened with us with the hospitality was we were not getting customers that were coming in. So what we did was to say, okay, look, everybody was at home and they're thinking, if I go out, I might catch this disease that everybody is running from. So how do we reach them? So we started with the deliveries and say, look, we're going to now start making the meals and have them in packages and then have them delivered for them free at the houses. So we went further with that as well. And we identified that supermarkets, pharmacies, restaurants that were doing deliveries were open, during this pandemic. So what I realized also looking back was that even in times of war or any of those whatever, there are certain businesses that would always be in business, in essential business. So that made us think about having an online store. So the delivery one, we went on further to do the online store, shop to house. So and then we went on further to open the physical store.
So that's presently online?
Yes, it's online, but we've opened the physical store.
So that means I can go there and make
orders. So on
I always just like to,
so on www.shoptohouse.com, you can go online, shop for anything you want, and you'll have it delivered. And we took ours further, because we looked at convenience as well. So we've identified a gap that people, even for a while, will still want to stay home and shop and all that. So what we did with the shop to house online store is we created different packages there for people to be able to access and so say for instance you want to host someone for a birthday dinner and then you are not available. So you can go on the store. So we have vendors, right? So we have a page for vendors. So one of our brands, the house, is a hotel, is a vendor on shop to house. So what that simply means is that you can go on the site, register your product. So if you sell clothes, if you sell shoes, anything you do, you can register on our site as a vendor.
People can access
your product. And then we create, so we went further by creating a profile for you. So once you register and we approve you, we create a profile for you. So you have your own login details. So you can go on the site with your login and actually track your sales. So for everyone who buys your product, so you can post your product yourself. You don't need us to do that. You post, we look at it, and once it's acceptable to what the standards are, we approve, and then it goes live on our site.
Somebody makes a purchase on such a profile.
Yes, you see, you can track your purchases. You can track,
so
and then
you get a commission.
We get a commission, and then you get your money instantly. So the commission is already built in. So likewise with restaurants and supermarkets, pharmacies, practically everything. So if you go to the site, it's there.
There's a lot you need to say. As you look at being a business person and a money-wise person, if you permit me to say, as you look at our economy in the last few years and the trends and the graph of inflation, what do you see in 2021? What do you if you might prognosticate?
Okay, I think we'll still be, it'll probably get worse if not to sound too harsh. Yes, it will probably get worse because we're still making the same mistakes that we've made this year. You know, the policies of government are not helping the economy to grow, and individuals also are not helping themselves to grow. So you see people still trying to maintain the same lifestyle that they did, even though their income is lower. So I think the people are not adjusting yet because everyone is assuming that it will get better. It will get better. But if you look at what the economy is, and then looking at what the purchasing power of what you earn now, is way lower. So we're not planning. You know, we're not planning, and a lot of people have probably spent what they saved over the time. Those that have saved enough
you're already answering my second question, which is going to be, in such an unstable or volatile economy, is it possible to gain some mastery over your own personal economy?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. Because just like I said, people are still, for instance, you had, I don't want to give examples that would sound, out there, but basically people still live the same lifestyles, but their income is lower. So what you would say,
at least the purchasing power
of it is lower. Yeah, so that's what I mean. So people, if for instance before you were able to save 10 naira, out of your whatever you were earning, and you are still saving that 10 naira. Now the value of that 10 naira has dropped. So you can't sustain it, so you need to save more. Now, it's painful, but you have to do that find ways to generate more, which is why it's always good. I always have this saying with every business that we did. I said, look, I'm going to be particular about businesses that generate funds every day for me, even if it's small funds. Yes. So that way it solves a lot of problems while I wait for the big one. But then I would have monies coming in every day. So people need to start looking at alternate incomes from what the regular one is, and then find ways to generate such income if they want to maintain the same lifestyle. Or you can just simply drop your standard a bit, just to accommodate the reality that is right now.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Yomi. You're on Safe Space with Pastor Wale Afelumo. We are looking at managing personal economy, staying afloat in an unstable economy or a volatile economy. My guest, Abayomi Bello, has been doing an amazing job. And you can keep your questions coming or comments at the chat box or in the chat box, and we will be on hand to respond. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you've not done so, and also share this with your friend. I think everybody should hear what I'm hearing in the studio today. Yomi, you started talking about just basically some of the things I wanted to ask you, which is fine. Why is it important to just come to that place of money mastery, to have that understanding of money, of financial literacy? Why is it so important?
I think first of all, everyone wants to live a good life, and you need funds to be able to do that, and to be able to afford, even if it's the basics, good education for your kids, health, a good house to live in, a meal, 3 square meals a day, and the likes of
3 course.
Yeah,
as you
So for you to be able to afford all this, you need to be able to understand finances, your finances at least, and how your money comes in, how you spend it, what you spend it on. People always have all kinds of rules. They say 10% rule, this, that, and all that. Look, there's no one,
size fits all.
Yes, for every person has what is peculiar to them and what should work for them. So you know what you want to prioritize on, and then you know where you want to spend on. But you must understand and you know how to manage the finances you have, and it's basically that you need to.
From your perception or observation or experience with people, I know many Nigerians suffer, financially, obviously so. In fact, we are said to be the poverty capital of the country. But from your interactions with people, maybe even some of your staff and people, why do you think many Nigerians suffer financially, struggle financially?
Okay.
at every level, that is,
Yes.
at the basic, some may even be a bank manager or something, but you can just, you are looking at certain things in their lives. You began to talk about some of them, maybe like not lifestyle and all of that.
Yes, I think one thing is common across board, whether at the lower level or at the higher level, is trying to live above your means.
Okay.
I think that's a common thing that I see, with everyone. So you have to understand your position financially, and then plan, based on what you have. You can't plan based on what you don't have. I always say I look at the worst case scenarios in everything. So if it's good, then it's extras for me. But if it's bad, I'm covered because I planned for that. So a lot of people don't plan for what they have. They plan for what they don't have. So they project and say, oh, I'm hoping I'll get this next month. And then you begin to spend what you haven't even gotten yet. So you run into problems and you struggle.
I like the fact that you mentioned planning.
Yes.
Because and that is a topic on its own. Especially we began to say that 2021 may turn out worse economically for the nation. So it is the time for people to begin to plan.
Yes.
What school will my children go to? Where do I want to see myself? Where do I want to live? What do I need to cut down on, and all of that? And because if you, like it said, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
Definitely.
So I think that's important. What are some of the legit ways that people at ground zero can begin to build their wealth? Those are very, very abstract questions. But then see, and I'm asking you that from your experience, because somebody may be listening, and also being a pastor, I come across people like that, feel helpless, like you were helping them last year, you're still helping them this year, and you're like, what am I going to do to just get this person, to just, break and come to the place where they begin to earn?
So I think for me, people need to, like you say, you help someone and you keep helping them. So there's this entitlement mentality that a lot of people have, especially from this particular side. So they see people that they have access to and can help them, and automatically they become lazy in terms of trying to create wealth for themselves. So for me, I think people need to, people talk about entrepreneurship, for instance, and everyone feels that's the way to go. I have a slightly different view about that. So I believe there are people that are cut out for that, and there are some that are not. So you need to first identify what you are cut out for, and then even at that job where you are, you can actually earn a living and be comfortable if you plan properly. It goes back to that. So yes, and then for those that want to start new businesses, for instance, what is your interest? Who's doing that business? Do you understand the business well?
If possible?
Yes, if possible, and all that. So a lot of them are not patient. They look at other people and then think it happened overnight. No, it didn't. For us, for instance, I always used to tell people, it took us from 2010 till date to get to where we are. And it was one struggle after the other, and everything. But we were strategic, we planned. We knew what we wanted. We understood the market. We identified gaps in that market, and then we tried to fill those gaps. We tried other businesses. Some didn't really work out well. We evolved with what we're seeing around, We're not replicating what was happening in America down here. No, we identified our environment because this is where you are going to operate. So the other day I met a young man. He just came back from America. And he had a business idea, great on paper and everything, and all. And, so we were talking about it. He wanted to start it. He had the resource to do that and everything and all. And I explained to him, I said, look, it's good on paper, but the numbers don't add up when you come, to what, the reality on the ground.
Of it.
Yes. And he says, no, he wants to go ahead and do that and all that and everything. Now, he started the business, but he's back to square one, and he lost almost everything. Now, that's the example with almost everyone. What are you interested in? Yeah, interest is very key, Because at the end of it all, even when you are not making progress in terms of money, right? Your passion, the interest you have in that thing drives you to the point that you succeed. And then you need to believe in your own dream. You know, if this is what you feel you are selling, this is what you feel you want to do, and you believe in it, it's your belief in it that is going to help you push it further. Because if you know, with entrepreneurs, I always say there are three things basically. You know, the interest you have in it, the risk involved, and then the profits. So the profit is always the last. If you start with profit on your mind, you are going to make decisions that won't help the business because you are looking at it in terms of naira and kobo. But then if there's a passion that drives you, even when you are not making that money, you will push on, knowing that, look, I know it will succeed because the idea is brilliant. The market is there, you know, and all that. So a lot of these people just go into stuff because somebody else is doing it. They don't really understand how the person got it right, but then they just go in it and then try to replicate it. And, you know, the result is always there.
Thank you, Yomi. I was going to ask, you are basically going ahead of, which is fantastic.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's really fine because at the end of the day, we are here to just help people. So, however it comes, whether I ask it or it came spontaneously, that is very fine. But you also began to talk about this. I've looked at many Nigerians talking about entrepreneurship, like you said, who call themselves entrepreneurs, and they've not just been able to scale up. You know, they've just been there. Many of them, they just, you know, the business is, you know, from pocket to mouth. It's been in the boot of the car, you know, for 3 years, you know, and it's just really been the same thing. Are there things they need to know? Now, I know about interest and all of that, but then are there, you know, some technical things that they need to know to help scale your business up, you know, versus just remaining at that place? And the business has been in existence for 3, 4, 5 years. Actually, I was talking to somebody yesterday who I know has been in this business for maybe over 10 years, over 10, 15 years, but it still is not just structured as a business, and it still deals with clients who say, my brother, do this now, my brother, just do that thing for me now, my brother. And even me at my own little level, I said, even if it's a little PA you can have somewhere that interfaces and says, sir, I'm the operations director of this organization. My boss told me to negotiate the business deal with you. That it changes the whole issue of negotiation, because you communicate to that person, I'm dealing with an organization, not my bro. You know, so maybe you can.
So I think you've said you know, you've said it. Structure is very important with, you know, scaling up. But then again, it's also good to identify, like I said, what you want to do. If you want to
and where you want to go to.
Yes. So there are businesses that can be small businesses. They can be small businesses
and remain like that.
There are those that can scale up and all that. You know, so it depends on what you want. So, but scaling up means that you understand that there's a demand for your business. Because it's not, if you scale up and then there's no demand, then there's no profit. So you have a big organization, and then your overhead becomes a lot, and then you can't sustain it because your income is not balancing out. Yes. So you need to identify if you want to remain a small business that renders service and delivers properly and gets paid well, or you want to scale up and then also, you know, but then you need to identify, is there a demand for me to scale up? But the most important part for those that there's a demand for it, you started small and you want to scale up, is save. Wow. You need to be able to save.
Save money, that is.
Yes, because a lot of businesses, once they start well, they start making some funds. That's when they start spending on what is not necessary. So you need to put back into what will help the business. So if I'm buying a car, is it for the business?
Will it help the business?
Will it help the business, you know, to go? If I'm getting a location, if I'm changing a location from where we were before to a highbrow area, is it for the business? Does the business need to be in that place? Or, for instance, someone who is cooking and doing delivery, whatever, then you get an apartment in Maitama, your overhead is already high. But all the profit you make, you're going to spend on rent and the likes of it, unless you own the building, which is different. So what are you spending the money you are making on? Are you putting it back in the business? Is what you are spending on, is it helping the business? That way, the business scales itself automatically. Because if you are making a lot of money and then you are spending, so you are doing delivery and you need vehicles to go and all that, or you need the bikes to go. At some point, your demand is high.
You increase your capacity.
Yes, so you would buy more bikes automatically, right, from the funds you get. You are not going to spend, and then that's the point where you realize you need to buy a house in Maitama, or you need to buy a new car.
Or even relocate your office to
Asokoro. And then you have a big office, beautiful office, well equipped and all that, but no business. So what are you spending on? Are you spending back in the business, or are you spending on yourself? Because there has to be a difference.
Talk about separating business funds
and personal funds. Okay. So like for me, I pay myself salary, just like every other person. So the accountants, like yesterday I got paid. So the accountant.
I'll see you after this program.
so it's very important, which is the structure that you were talking about. To have a proper structure, separate the monies that are for business and those that are for. There was a series you talked about, and you mentioned something about an account separate for personal stuff and whatever. So like when you say you want to treat yourself and take yourself out, that's from your personal funds. It can't be from funds for the business. So the business account is separate from my own personal account. I pay myself salaries like every other.
Would you say that's best practice? So that people.
Well, it's best practice. It's worked for me. It's worked for me. So people have different methods. Some models that but this model has worked for me over the years, and it's helped me to be able to get funds to expand the business, when we need to, because we have savings in the company account. So the fact the money is there doesn't mean I have to spend it. I only spend what is in my own account. What we spend for the company is in the company account. So you should be able to separate that.
I think maybe you are being modest by not saying it's the best practice, but I want to say I think it's just the best practice, because even for us as a church, I have even from my own industry, if you permit me to use that word, I've met pastors who their churches are not properly registered with governments, and it's like everything is in their name, and I'm like, if somebody came to your church and said they want to give maybe #1 million, 2 million, I say, give me your church account number, and then you give them Wale Afelumo. I say, if the person is right thinking, they'll just move away. So for me, I just think it's best practice. It also says that you respect your business. Yes. You respect it. You accord it the honor that it deserves, so that it can also grow. And you separate yourself. And as the business grows, like Yomi said, your salary can also increase.
Yes.
Your salary can increase. That's amazing, Yomi.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Yes.
You've been on Safe Space with Pastor Wale Afelumo, having an amazing time with Abayomi Bello in this place, an astute businessman. And if you want to ask any questions, it will be on hand. Live will be answering questions in the chat box. So you can ask questions, you can make comments. Remember to subscribe to Safe Space with Pastor Wale Afelumo. Subscribe to this channel, because we have interesting episodes, and you can watch previous episodes too. Thank you very much. Now, many people will talk about capital when they think of startup. Everybody just says capital. I don't have money. Can you say a thing? Are there businesses you can start without money, or how can people get, capital, to start businesses? How did you start your video renting?
Okay, yeah. So if I'll use that as an example.
Yeah, because that was your startup.
Yeah, that was my startup. So that came from my personal funds. So when people talk about...
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
And when you say that came from your personal funds, what I also heard from that is, before you even start a business, learn to save money personally.
Personally,
as a person.
yes. You must have put something aside, even as a person.
Yeah.
Maybe because me, as I am, if I have 100 naira, I'm splitting it into two first.
Wow.
I'm keeping half aside.
Wow.
For whenever I always say,
days.
look, there's someday I will need it. Then I now plan with the remaining half on, and apportion specific amounts to what I want to do, and all that. So it's discipline, basically. I understand that banks, won't help. Yeah. So going to the bank to ask for money to start up, you most likely will not get what you want. But you can start small. It's very important for people to understand that you can start small and then build up. The problem people have is they have businesses like the fellow that I spoke about. You come up with a business model and then you want to spend so much on it. I don't know how you want to recoup the capital, even if you're getting the money free. Now, if you don't have the money, it just tells you that you can start small. So whatever it is you have saved, even if you don't have anything saved, look for people that have interest in what you want to do. And if no matter how long it takes, keep at it. You would find someone one day that is going to believe in what you want to do, and it will make sense to the person.
What about the place of partnership?
Yes. So partnership is also part of what I'm saying. So someone believes in what you want to do, and then understands that, okay, like during the pandemic, it would have been easy for you if you had a bike business to say, let's do delivery, because any person will understand that there's a market for that. There are people that want, so it's easy for you, and then you can start with one. The cost of getting one bike is not so high that you can start and then scale up and all that.
You can even start with a motorcycle person. You can have a
discussion with him. I'll give you a certain percentage.
We'll paint your bike, we'll build
and do all that. So, but people are not ready to have that conversation because what they want is different from the reality of what's on ground. So you want something, but then what you have is not the same with what you want. So you want to own a business that somebody else is already doing so well, and then you want to start off at that level. No, it won't work. It won't work. So you need to start small. You need to start small. Look for partnerships. Have an interest. I keep repeating that because it's important. Even if you are trying to sell an idea to me, to say, partner with me on this, I need to understand that you even know what you are talking about. I need to understand that you believe in what you are talking about for me to be able to put funds behind you. There are people out there who are incubators. They look for new businesses and they help build businesses. They are everywhere. But then they need to understand that you know what you are talking about, and that I'm not going to give you money and the next thing, I'll give you funds, and then I look at you as a person. You're the character of the person you are dealing with. I don't want to give you funds and then the next thing you go and use it to buy a car and driving.
Credibility eventually turns to credit.
Credit, simple. So all these play out. So you who is looking to start up a business, how well have you developed yourself, character-wise, your personality? What are the things you have done before? Why are you going into this business? Ask yourself some of these questions. Is there a gap that you're trying to fill and all that? And you'll be surprised that there are people that are willing to actually help fund new businesses, but they need to believe in it.
Yomi, and I know our conversation has gone a lot towards entrepreneurship and starting businesses and all of that, but there's something you had also said that you don't think everybody is cut out for that, and I totally agree with that. Can you say a word to people who find themselves working in an organization? As in maybe just one thing. How do you? Are there things you can also do to excel there? That just the fact that you work in an organization doesn't mean that there's a ceiling over you, that you can also excel.
So for those that when I was saying not everyone cut out for entrepreneurship. So for those that work in organizations, you must have the depth of ideas that you are bringing on board. You see, if the business grows, you grow. So if you are working somewhere and you help, just like I have a friend who was working with ASO Savings here in Nigeria, and he was so good at his job, what he did, that he got recognized by some of the customers that were coming in to the bank, and it was what he brought to the job,
to the table,
that made them see that in him. Now they approached him, to fund him to build houses. He said he's not cut out for that, but he now went and looked for someone who was into that, partnered with the person, and they set up a real estate firm, and they're building houses. People are funding them from the job he had before. So you don't have to deviate from your line, but you can partner with people that whatever. But then it is what people see that would help them to push you up. So if you are in a job, for instance, now, put in your best, bring in new ideas, help to build that company. because invariably what you are doing is you are building yourself. And at the end of it all, you are going to, it will help you achieve something. You know, promotion at your job, a new business for you to head, even the salary that you would earn can increase. There are people that are earning much more than people that own businesses.
Yeah, fantastic. True.
And they are working in organizations. They carry them all around, pay all. Ultimately, what you need profit from entre businesses, salary and all that is to just take care of bills.
Self-sufficiency, financial
so
sufficiency.
if you're working in an organization that they're paying your school fees for your kids, you have your medicals covered, they give you house, give you, all you have left is just money.
In today's Nigeria.
Yes, in today's Nigeria. So that's sorted almost everything. But you won't get to that point if you don't put in the effort.
Value.
So value. You must add value. So you keep developing yourself, bring new ideas to the table, and it will help, boost your income as well.
Yomi, from our interactions, and by the way, we did, and we gave some small businesses loans some time ago to help them after the post-COVID era. And Yomi was one of our faculty members in interviewing the beneficiaries. Now, Yomi, going back to businesses and startups, do you know of any government initiatives that people can take advantage of? Initiatives, maybe there are loans somewhere, a government program somewhere that some of our viewers have been thinking in that line that are available. Because I'm asking that question because I know that sometimes making money hinges a lot on the amount of information you have.
Yes.
So if there are pieces of information like that can help.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of intervention in the agri space.
Okay.
With NISA, I know NISA Bank, they're helping a lot of people, in that sector.
Okay.
So they give a lot of loans ranging from 5-10 million and even higher to businesses to help purchase equipment that you require, to push your business forward. So I know NISA is doing a lot of that. They have different categories of the agri loan that they're helping out with. So they can look into that area, and all that to help develop. And like I said, there are also some incubators. There are private equity firms.
How do people access? How do people find people like that?
They are everywhere. I always tell people, Google is your friend always. Yeah. So just type private incubators in Nigeria, and there'll be a list. Yes, they are incubators. So they help build new businesses and expand them and all that. The likes of Konga, all of them, they all started as incubated. They were incubated over a period of time, and then they got investors to come and buy into an idea. So they didn't have anything. They just had an idea of the market space, and then they built it up to a point that the foreign guys became very interested in what they had to offer, and then they gave them equity. So it's they are out there. The information is out there if you search, and Google has made it so easy for people. People will underrate what you would find online. If you online. So if you type just about any topic, you would use it. But I know that they are out there. I know a couple that are out there that can help businesses if they have great business ideas in tech, in agri, in HR, development, trainings, all sorts.
Listening to you like there are a lot of opportunities and room to fly in agriculture, but it's like many Nigerians don't like. Yeah,
because they don't understand, what it is to be in the agri sector. You can be anywhere down the value chain. So you don't have to be on the farm. You could be someone who resells a product from the farm. That's still along the value chain.
By the way, as you said, I remember a guy who told me that he travels to Benue to buy tubers of yam, loads it on a truck with other people on a trailer. He has maybe 2,000 tubers, and he comes back. People bring it to Abuja. And I'm asking, how do you say? So no, before it hits the market,
it's gone. It's gone, and they're everywhere. Even like the rice area, the rice sector now is one that anyone can play. A lot of the people that are on now selling rice, the Nigerian rice, so as they call it, they go to buy those rice from Lambata and all the other places, and then rebag and resell. They buy cheap and then rebag and resell. The problem is people don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to do the work, but they want the result from the work. But you need to put in the work. So
I
agri,
think oil money has fault us as a nation.
yeah. So it's an entitlement. So everybody wants something free. But there are actually things you can do, even right in your house. From like the poultry sector is got a good boost when the border was closed, because you had to contend with the importation of chicken and all that. So now people patronize the local feed, eggs as well. Bakeries and whatnot use a lot of eggs and all that. So you can do all this right even within your.
I'm already feeling like a businessman. Your safe space with Pastor Wale Afelumo, my guest Abayomi Bello, has been talking to us about managing personal economy and staying afloat in a volatile economy. And there's just a lot to learn. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Keep your comments and questions coming in the chat box, and we'll respond to those. Now, Yomi, we have a mixed multitude watching this, and at some point, the thing is that it's online. Somebody can watch it 3 years from now, and what I'm going to ask you right now seems very basic, but you just don't know who's watching. Somebody may let their child even watch it, as in that basic. Can you tell us some basic money wisdom tips that just anybody should know? Just basic money, just basic money tips. Yeah.
So the first thing is learn to save.
Savings.
Yes. Learn to save. Learn to, for those that are in business, take calculated risks.
Calculated risk.
Yes, it's not just enough to take risks. Yes, I know they say the higher the risk, the higher the reward. Or sometimes they also say experience is the best teacher. I always say, why experience it? Why do I need to? I can learn from your experience and then help. So knowledge. So take calculated risk. Acquire knowledge on whatever it is you're doing. But most importantly, save. Learn to save. It has to. People, the 10% rule, 30% rule, all that. But you have to do better than that. Save to the point that it hurts you. You know? Yes, you need to do that for you to be able to break out. So once you break out, it becomes easier for you to just put money aside, because you are making a lot of money anyways. But at the initial stage, learn to save. It's very important. Don't spend everything you make.
What about investments?
Investment is good,
but that's also next level from saving.
From savings, yes, because you can only invest what you have put aside. But if you don't have anything, how do you invest? So the basic is first save. So you can invest. People do stocks and all that. I have my doubts about that, because it's a market that it's unpredictable. It's not for everyone, and you can lose everything.
Long term.
Yes, it's largely long term also. But there are things you can use to invest in. Properties, you can never go wrong with that. With properties, you can't go wrong with that.
Fantastic. I asked that question because everybody can work their way to financial sufficiency. Yes. I think that's basically what this is about. And summing up some of the things that our guest has said, it begins from saving. He's also talked about cutting your coat, basically according to your size or pocket, like we say in Nigeria. Living within your means, just not trying to keep up with the Joneses and all of that. But at the base of financial sufficiency or independence is savings. Begin to put something aside. You say, well, what I'm earning is not much. It could have been lower. So take a little and put aside, and it will shock you. Some of the things my wife and I have done just came out of savings. Just the discipline of saving over the years. And another thing that I learned about saving sometimes is that it will shock you the opportunities that are around. Somebody may just come and say, I want to sell this car, I need money quickly.
No. And
the price is as in it's crazy.
And then just key into it.
And you're looking, that's the money you ate in the last 6 months of your life that you could have, put aside. So that's amazing, Yomi. Now, as we round up, and that also answers something I wanted to ask you, that what as we look into 2021, what personal money adjustments do people should people begin to make? But I think we've already answered that. So need to begin to, as a matter of urgency, planning, put something aside. And also listening to something you said, if savings may not do me well, because some people don't save because they say, what's the returns on savings? Look into it. Mutual funds that may go into properties or something. How can we be putting the money maybe in getting a property or something? But let something be going into a scheme that can grow, that can grow your money. And then, like they also say, before you invest, investigate. So it's also important, whatever you want, because I like to say, Yomi, that your money represents your life because it's a product of your time and your energy. So before you put your money anywhere, ask questions. Check all the eyes, check all
knowledge.
Get knowledge, get information.
Very important.
It's very important, or else you will be shortchanged. You will be shortchanged. It's been an amazing time. As we round up, do you do some form of business coaching, money coaching? Do you do anything like that?
No.
Why get time?
I haven't given it a thought. No.
But I think it's something because I was privileged to hear of some of the encounters you had with the beneficiaries of the micro stimulus scheme that we had, and I'm like, even from your friend you talked about, you looked at what he had on paper, and from experience you could tell that this isn't this wouldn't work. So I think that it's something you may, even if it's not immediately, so that you just find ways to empower the coming generation, younger generation, things that you want people to. Something to look into. I'll be your student.
No, anytime you call me, I'll be.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I always like to also use this platform to just promote what people do, who they are, and all of that. Do you mind mentioning some of your hotels? We just know who wants to.
Okay. So the hotel is SOLOGIC Hotels, and then the brand name is the House. It's called the House. Yes.
The House.
The House. Yes, it's called the House. The printing press is so the name is across. So what we've done with the businesses is to make sure that we build businesses that we can depend on each other. So, for instance, I'll give an example. The hotel, we buy most of our chickens from the farm and the eggs as well.
There's a name for that in business, like something, rotating something.
Yeah, so we keep everything around. The supermarket now that we currently have now, we stock most of our oil and all that and everything. So at every point in time, our business is helping the other business to grow. So every business that we've built, there's a market, even if not from every other person, from ourselves, and people would always patronize us. So it goes around. So the hotel is the House. The printing press is SOLOGIC Prints. SOLOGIC Prints, yes.
In Abuja?
In Abuja, is in Abuja here.
The supermarket is what?
The supermarket is Shop to House.
Shop to House.
Yes, we call it store.
That's the on-ground store?
Yes, the on-ground store is called store.
It's called what?
Store. It's the acronym, yes, store, STOH. So it's Shop to House.
Okay,
yes. STOH, yes. And is in Kado here in Abuja. And then the farm is Omoboja Farms. Omoboja Farms, yes. So
where can we access some of your products, your oil? Are they
yes. So
we can find them in store.
We can find it in store, yes. So all the products are where they are there in store and everything.
Yomi, I think, just to listen to it, I think as a matter of company policy or corporate social responsibility, like we say, you should consider doing a business training, even if it's once a year, coaching. You can just set aside a week, you can promote it, and then get maybe a few of your friends from your experience, because from, like I said, being a pastor and people are ignorant. And some of these little things we've talked about today can just turn somebody's life around. So it's something to give a consideration.
All right, sir.
How can people reach you if they want to contact you, ask you questions? Social media handle? Which one do you prefer? Facebook, Twitter, phone number? Whatever you're comfortable with. You can say it and we'll put it at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, so I can be reached.
Say it to them, let them hear.
Okay, so you can actually go to our website.
Okay.
It's
Fantastic.
www.sologicgroup.
www.
www.
Because there was a man
sorry.
in Nigeria that
So www.sologicgroup.com, right? So there's a contact form there you can fill, and you'll reach me there.
Okay, okay, fantastic.
Instead of putting up my
think
personal
that's
number.
fine.
So
That's
you can reach me on.
So yeah.
So if you just go to the site, you can reach me there on Instagram, Facebook. It's SOLOGIC Group. SOLOGIC Group, yes.
Instagram, SOLOGIC Group,
Facebook,
okay,
yes.
we'll have it there. That's
So
fantastic.
our details
That's
are
fantastic
are
because
there,
somebody you may just become somebody's money mentor or business mentor. Who knows? So, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much for having
us. Amazing, a rewarding time. I've learned a lot. Actually, I'm thinking of like Igbo people say to change line to go into business. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm really grateful. I know you're a very busy person. You're even traveling just after this tomorrow. Thank you for taking out the time to be here. I want to thank you, our viewers, for being a part of this. If you've not done so, remember to subscribe to the channel. Share this on your different social media platforms. Let people have access to this information. I said at the beginning that this is our last episode for the year. So you can visit our YouTube channel, this same channel, and you can watch our past episodes. From next year, we'll roll out other episodes, and it's going to be an amazing time. You don't want to miss out on that. I want to thank you on behalf of myself and everybody in the studio. Thank you, and on behalf of my guests, to thank you for being a part of Safe Space with Pastor Wale Afelumo. I wish you compliments of the season and a happy, prosperous 2021. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.